Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about spacing and timing. I guess a lot on spacing and the different types of, I guess the different levels of obviously spacing will affect how heavy and light an object will feel. We'll begin with this example I found. Obviously bowling ball is pretty heavy, a balloon is pretty light. And so any object trying to move a bowling ball is going to take a lot more. And just do a quick spacing test just to see. So obviously it's here, here, here. Doesn't really go anywhere. And then a balloon. It's almost out in 3 or 4 frames, whereas the bowling ball barely moves. Even tracking the foot is a good exercise. Starts off slow, building energy as it comes down. Jump spacing there. You can see build, and then the spacing gets larger over time. Here's an example of a throw of a light object, so that didn't require any, I guess, momentum in the body. It just is all in the wrist. So, and it kind of just hangs in the air because it's so light. So yeah, you get the point. So it doesn't really go anywhere. Whereas if we go to this guy, he throws obviously a large object, which requires him to use both arms, bend his body into it, he has to get into a good solid stance because it's so heavy. And then obviously if you track it, spends less time in the air, and eventually out of screen. And that applies to, say, this video where this kid jumps off the roof and does a front roll, and obviously gravity, and then kicks the ball in his face. Gravity affects different objects differently. So here it shows him falling, and he rolls. So there's nice even spacing there. Gravity kicks in here as it slightly gets a bit bigger, and he rolls. And then when he goes to kick the ball, because it's so light, jumps from there, it's over there, and bounces back immediately, and it's so quick because it's so light. Whereas he required more spacing because he's larger. And then boom! And then just another example of a guy falling. That's just a heavy thud. So there was really only one bounce. So So big spacing just before he falls and hits, before it impacts. And when he hits, there's a bit of energy being absorbed. He bounces up, but not too high, and then just kind of lands, and then his head cracks down. So just a one bounce because he's pretty heavy. Now I want to show you a heavy walk. So here's one from Parkour, and obviously it's a giant robot the size of a skyscraper walking through water, so it has to feel heavy. So I guess you can track the arm, for example. It requires a lot of spacing, so it takes a lot of frames to move up. So if it was heavy and large and slow, then if you go to a fairly large guy who's walking, there's some weight to his stride and his arms, but it's nothing like a giant Jaeger. So obviously his comes up over a few frames. His hips. Up and down. Planting here. Pushing back over there. Yeah, you get the point. It's some weight in his steps. Then if you go to this walk, it's so quick, there's no bounce, and you can see the contrast in both people. So his center of gravity kind of remains even. There's no bounce, it just goes straight across because he's so light. And it's very even spacing. Looks like he's just gone straight across at even spacing. Let's look at this punch. This is a really heavy punch from, again, Pacific Rim. So a fist this size requires a few frames to impact. There's a spacing jump there just for impact. And then if you get a human punch, they're so quick, you can do about 8 punches in the same amount of time. So this punch, say for 1 frame, down here, hit, and then retract. Hit, and then retract. I just wanted to show you a couple more examples. Here we have this guy who kind of slips on a wall and falls over. Just wanted to show you the spacing on his fall. So kind of look at his shape, his chest and his cog. So the spacing is still pretty close as he's falling. the spacing starts to open up before it hits. And then there's obviously the overlap of the head. The snap of the head adds to that impact. And then one last one, this classic sheep headbutting this fella into the lake. I just kind of like the spacing. So he backs up, then building the spacing starts to get larger. There's the hit, then he stops, and then which causes this guy to absorb the energy. Then there's that spacing jump. He picks up momentum and he's gone.